And we're live, and we are live for episode 4 of the PickFu podcast. 4, there we go, number 4. My name is John Aspinall, brand evangelist here at PickFu, coming at you weekly to give you all the special guests, all the insight, all the tips, all the tricks, all the hacks. Hacks? I almost said hats because I'm wearing a hat. Shout out to the PickFu swag hat here. But we got Rafael from Shared Studio. Rafael, welcome, man.
Thank you, my friend. I really appreciate your time and for having me on. You're famous in the space, man, so I'm a bit of a fanboy right now.
No, you're famous in the space. I'm a blip on the LinkedIn map of fame. But, man, for anyone who doesn't know you, get into more about what you guys are doing now at Shared Studio, who your ICP is, all the good stuff you're rocking, and then we want to learn more about how you got there.
Yeah, okay, so Shared Studio, we create content first of all, actually, the name Shared Studio comes because we were creating content for social media before I even started dwelling into the Amazon space. That's why it's called Share It Studio. So we create content that's shareable. That's where the name comes from. But since 2018, we've been creating content specifically for the Amazon space, e-commerce, but specifically for the Amazon space. So anything that has to do with photos, videos, any type of visual, we can create it, packaging. And the most important thing is that it's not just quote unquote pretty content, but it's also content that derives from data. That's why we use, guess what? PickFu.
Data driven, right? Like you have to make sure that, especially from an agency's side of things or creative agency, the work that your team is doing, you want to make sure that you're doing the efforts that need to be done versus replicating over and over and over again. That doesn't make sense, right? So you want to work smarter, not harder. But Are you guys physically doing like a photo shoot, or is it all digital?
No, everything we do, 90%, unless the client doesn't have the budget, we do everything in-house. So I'm a filmmaker, actually. I graduated from film school in 2015, but I've been doing good stuff since 2009. That's what led me to. I was actually studying law in 2009.
You were going to be a lawyer in 2009?
Can you hear me? Because it said that I lost connection.
You're dropping in and out, but I heard law, and I was super interested.
So I was studying law. I was studying law in Venezuela. I'm originally from Venezuela. But when I was graduating from high school, I was like, Dad, I want to be a musician. My dad's like, you're going to be broke for the rest of your life, and I'll have to actually support you for the rest of your life, and you shouldn't. So you should go do something that's actually going to make you money. I was like, what should I do? He's like, well, I'm a lawyer, and I've been done pretty good for myself. I was like, okay, well, maybe I can study law. I hated it. So I started doing my things on the side. And fast forward 2015, I dropped out of law school, went to filmmaking, and now I'm a filmmaker, man. That's why
I want to stop you there because that's super interesting. What kind of films? Like, what kind of films were you doing?
So I loved, since I wanted to be a musician, I really dived into the music videos and commercial space because that's where I saw the most amount of action and the most amount of money as well. Not so much in the music videos, but a lot into the commercials, which spiral into me going and working for like Nickelodeon, CNN, Telemundo, these type of companies. Yeah,
well, that's a great segue because I mean, like commercials tie directly into Amazon, right? And
that's how I felt.
Compelling stuff. No, that's so. Where did that kind of break hit? So you were doing the commercial stuff. How did you get into the e-com space? Were you a seller? Did you tell me about that?
So that's a super interesting story. I believe that life is always going to put you in the right direction if you ask for it, right? And what was happening was that I was miserable, honestly. I wouldn't say miserable, but I wasn't very happy working at Nickelodeon. I was working at Nickelodeon at the time. If my ex-boss sees this, I'm sorry, Ricky. But you're a great boss, Ricky.
How could you be miserable at Nickelodeon, man? They're great shows that came out of Nickelodeon. That sounds like a dream working at Nickelodeon. For me,
it's really not, man. It's really not. It is cool. I won't say it wasn't. I was part of the post-production editing team and post-production coordinating team, and I was going to the shows and filming and then going back to the editing room, editing suite and editing it, and then I was sending it to my boss and they were approving it and for Nickelodeon Latam. So everything that went through Nickelodeon Latam, I was part of that team, and I wasn't really happy. I was making decent money, but it wasn't something that I was seeing like, wow, I can really support my family with this. So what I did is one day we were in a meeting and my boss, my ex-boss, his friend actually sold on Amazon coffee machines, and he's like, hey, Ricky, I need some help with this stuff. And Ricky was like, I'm too busy. Rafa, can you help them? Can you do this? Can you make a commercial for this coffee machine, espresso machine? And as you know, the coffee space is extremely competitive. So we did a really cool commercial, and it started increasing those conversions. And then he asked me, wow, this is doing really good. Can you help us with some, this is like 2017. Can you help us with some photos? I was like, of course. So I pulled up my marketing hat and I started investigating and like, hey, what are people doing? What are the trends? What are the search queries on Google? What are the search trends on Google? How, all these marketing tactics. I was like, okay, let me create this content with this data, and things, started increasing for him a lot. And it wasn't until he actually showed me the numbers, I was like, oh, this is something. And at that time, I had Share a Studio on the side. I was doing commercials for, law firms, real estate. I was knocking on the doors on the weekends when my days off on restaurants, like, hey, can I create content for you guys? And then I met my mentor. My mentor's like, well, if this is working, why don't you just focus on something specific? I was like, e-commerce. Like, no, more specific. Be like the best at something very niche. And it was Amazon at the end. I was like, okay. And then I drove into the Jungle Scout. You remember Jungle Scout? Of course you do, right?
Yeah,
they're coming.
I just put up they released their 2024 advertising report from Amazon. At Jungle Scout, big fan. Love those guys.
They were super, super trendy. Then something happened and they were like a bit under the trenches, and then they're coming back out again. I actually just signed a deal with them, which is super cool. Shout out to Rolando, my friend Rolando.
I was just hanging out with Rolando and Brandon in the Pattern Show in Utah last week. Great guys.
Yeah, I'm out seeing him actually today, later today in Fort Lauderdale. I'm in Miami. So yeah, whatever. I went into the Jungle Scout marketplace and I started getting all these gigs. I was like, wow, I'm making more money right now than I'm doing in Nickelodeon. I'm working more. Because like people who say like, oh, you're your own boss, it's so cool. It's not that cool, guys. It's not that cool. It's a lot of work, but it's more rewarding, at least in the soul fulfilling for me. And I started making more money, and I was like, oh, this is actually cool, and I'm actually doing something that I like, creating commercials. And that's how I came about Amazon, man. And that's where I'm in the space. And I met the guys at PickFu through a contest that we won. It was for Kevin King's products, and dude, it's been amazing. Yeah.
So that's I want to share my screen. I want to get your thoughts on the landscape of Amazon and that kind of stuff. But tell me more about, why are you not a full service agency? I always like to ask people this kind of stuff, right? Whether it's a PPC only agency, creative only agency, I like to ask people, what made you niche down specifically in creative? And do you ever get tempted sometimes to go into full service?
Yeah, that's actually a great question. I love that question, man. We have the capabilities to be a full house agency. I honestly, I do not like making decisions based on fears, but I haven't done it because I don't feel like I'm prepared enough. We sell on Amazon. We sell more than 78 SKUs right now. We have more than 78 SKUs with variations. So we definitely have the capabilities to do all these things because we're doing it in-house for ourselves. But I don't feel like we are 100% ready to give the quality that I believe. I'm gonna be as humble as I can, but I also believe I know my strengths. We can definitely do PPC really good. We can definitely do a lot of things really, really good, better than a lot of people out there right now. Not as good as a lot of other people right now. For example, my friend Carlos Alvarez, PPC is just mind blowing. So unless I feel like I'm on the same level as Carlos, which hopefully one day I'll be, I don't want to launch that as of yet. I am partnering up with other agencies to come up with solutions. So, for example, I'm partnering up with Ecomcy, Vincenzo, and we're launching a budget-friendly PPC agency that's also going to help in terms of content, so basically Vincenzo comes with his brilliant mind, and I come with my good quality content, and we give something very affordable for newcomers. So that's like one of the things we're doing. I'm partnering up with another agency to give very affordable, very, very affordable content for newcomers as well. People who don't have necessarily the budget and they're not spending $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 on ad spend. So if they're not, putting that much money, they don't have a lot of money for content. So Share Studio is a little bit on the higher end because we do everything organically inside. Like we hire a model, we have the camera, we have the equipment, we have the payroll, we have all these things that take a lot of money. So I'm partnering up with another agency right now to offer something very affordable. We just launched the agency. It's called spiritcreatives.com. So you can go out and check it out. It's
pretty cool.
Yeah, listing a bundle of images and A+ for like $300 at a very, very good quality, like really good quality. It took me a year actually. It took me a year in the trenches to like kind of scout somebody somebody in-house. I only do in-house. Somebody's going to be in-house full-time, train them, somebody who had no knowledge but had a lot of potential, sign a good, like a 5-year contract with them. Imagine this is like a football team. Sign a 5-year contract with them and train them and give them all my knowledge. But to be able to give them equity in the company so they can get something in the end, and train them to do this. So we have that nailed down. It took me a whole year with my team to come up with this system, but we finally got it. Thankfully, we launched like last month. We have this. You're actually the first one to hear it. No, second one. First one was Carlos Alvarez.
Oh, you got me all excited. This was like the world premiere.
But yeah, man, that's it. Should we jump into any more questions? I don't want to talk about myself.
I got tons of questions, man. So let me share my screen, and I want to show you a little bit more about what I'm kind of looking at, right? So I took my glasses off because I'm super blind and no one wants to see me squinting, but it is what it is. Hold on one second here. I can't share my screen. Fantastic. What a great thing to do in a live stream. Anyway, so maybe you'll share your screen, right? I'll share some links, or maybe Adrian, you can share your screen without hopping on, and we can share some links. But I want to know a little bit more about the SERP and how important that is for creatives, right? So when taking a look at the Amazon SERP and the search engine result page, how does that factor into when you're making creatives, right? So if you're making a main hero image for a brand, do you take a look at the SERP? Are you very micro and looking specifically at the product and the brand, or are you kind of pulling out and taking a look at the landscape? So for example, melatonin gummies. Are you able to, the landscape is very, very purple with melatonin gummies. So with something like that, would you want to not do purple to stick out on the SERP, or what are your thoughts on that kind of thing?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, first of all, the biggest disclaimer I can give is that marketing, it is not a 1 + 1 = 2, unfortunately. Marketing is a 1 + 1, and let's try to figure it out. Let's launch this and see if this helps. And maybe next month, because it's Mother's Day, for example, like last week was like Mother's Day, and maybe you want to give, I don't know, maybe that's a big niche for mothers, and it changes. So it can vary drastically month to month, depending on the season, month, there's the product niche, so many things, it just varies. What we want to do is look at, yes, definitely the search engine results, the keyword. The keyword is very important. So we look at the data and see, like, okay, if for these gummies, maybe melatonin gummies for, I don't know if they sell it, but for kids. I don't know. I don't have any kids. I don't have any kids, okay? Don't shoot the messenger.
Oh, trust me, there is melatonin for kids, and I am probably the number one consumer that's keeping these companies in business because my children are on a regimen of melatonin gummies at night.
Okay, let's say let's go even deeper. Let's say it's melatonin gummies for little boys. Let's just say that's a big search result. So we first look at the keyword and see where we come up with, if they're using the PPC companies that we use. For example, Ecomcy, we get on a call with them, with the people at Vincenzo's and Ecomcy, like, hey guys, where are you planning on spending the most amount of PPC and which keywords? It's like melatonin gummies for little, for example, kids. See, so kids 2 years old. Let's go even deeper. Kids 2 years old. For kids, it's there you go. So it's all purple, right? So maybe what Ollie, I was about to work with Ollie, actually.
Oh yeah.
It was gotta be a good brand, man. But they never got back to me. If you guys are watching this, I still want to work with you guys for free. Just reach out to me.
You got to cold call them, man.
Dude,
I interview with a couple of CROs where they say cold calling is not dead, is the latest way to kind of break into it.
So I quick side story. I was speaking at Prosper 2023. And also the chief marketing officer for Ali, for e-commerce for Ali was there, and I actually got to talk to her, and she said, yeah, she gave me her personal email and everything, but she never got back to me. I'll reach out to her again. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
So for example, here we can see some are using a little bit of gummies on the packages, on the main image, and then it's mostly purple. You're right. So what we would do is we would look at this and okay, 2-year-old kids, and something that I remember that PickFu once had a webinar. They said you can actually maybe use redo the packaging a little bit, or have an insert or something that calls out the attention more. So I will look at definitely at the landscape and see where we're at, see the time of the season, maybe Christmas comes up, right? So I would do something differently for that, and I would A/B test that specific image. First with PickFu and see what PickFu says. I would actually go even deeper and have a demographic poll for PickFu and be like, okay, this works, this doesn't work.
Yeah.
And from there, test it on Amazon, because it is Amazon at the end of the day that has the last say. So for example, for this, if you see this packaging, there's a 68 non-GMO gummies dietary supplement at the bottom, right? So you don't really see that when it's in the search results page. There's a lot of things that you don't see. So I would stripe away all those things and just keep it as simple as possible. Is that against TOS most of the times? Because it's not the same packaging? It could be, but dude, not a lot of people play by the rules. I would
especially in the supplement space. They don't play by the rules in the supplement space.
Yeah, so I would say try it out. Don't be black hat. Like, definitely do not buy reviews. Definitely do not do things that are extremely dangerous, like driving traffic to like your Shopify page. But if you have an app, drive traffic to that app as a product insert, right? Which you can also test on PickFu, which we test on PickFu all the time. Actually, fun fact, we, in every package that we sell in the company, we include a PickFu test already, because that's as important as we see it. We if we go into battle unprepared, we're definitely gonna lose, right? So we want to go into battle as prepared as possible. Doesn't mean we're gonna have everything right at the first time, but that's the idea. So I would stripe all those things and have the label as clean as possible, and maybe even add a kit, 2-year-old kit.
So you said a kit, like showing like all the different pieces inside of it, meaning, or like
maybe a kid, I don't know, holding the gummy, maybe a child holding the gummy. I lost you.
No, a kid. So I thought you meant kit. I was like, how are you doing a kit? But a kid, like a lifestyle image for sure.
Yep.
But looking at this right here, you see how they put proprietary formula?
Yeah.
That's a post edit.
Yep.
That's like dead pixel real estate space, because you can tell this is a post edit, because if you go to the product over here and take a look at the ratings, right? First of all, the packaging looks totally different, right?
Yep.
The packaging doesn't even look the same in the actual consumers, what they actually got. But you can see down here, it's not there. That post edit is something totally different. So
they already did it.
Say it again?
They already modified the packaging. But I would actually, can you go back, please?
Yeah. Totally.
So what I like to do, just from a visual standpoint, is I like to look at like this big, because that's actually how people are going to see it. Yeah. So for example, proprietary formula, you can't really see it. Like, it's like I have to squint my eyes, right? So all those things that you can barely see, I would scratch that out. Do you really need to see that? Like, it's good, but like, is it really helping you?
Yeah, so like I like that they're putting the flavor profile and the gummy, right? Because if my kids don't like strawberry, I'm not going to buy this for them, because guess what? They're not going to take it. So I think it's good that they're being transparent with this kind of stuff. Even Ollie right here, they're showing the strawberry in the corner versus this gummy right here, right? I mean, they're monsters in the space. They're doing 10K in the past 30 days, at least that's what Amazon's saying, right? But I don't know what flavor this is until I get down here. then I could see that it's raspberry, but it's not prominent. It's not in my face. So I might buy this and not realize my kids hate raspberry, and then they're not going to take it, right? So have you seen including like flavor elements in the main hero image as like a standard?
Yeah, so we let me see if I can actually find an example that way. So what you want to do with images is answer as many questions as you can as possible before you do before they even go into the actual image.
Yeah.
That's what we want to do. So if flavor is a big issue in your space, for example, in the supplement space, I know vanilla and things like that are extremely important, right? So for example, in this one, let me see if I can show or not. Percent.
Sometimes you may have to show tab for whatever reason. But I'm going to show another example too of a good one that you had mentioned with like a flavor profile, which is a big one for me that I see a lot of is protein powders and protein mix and that kind of stuff. So
this is a project we did with this brand. You might know them. It's called M&M's.
Is that a small brand or?
So we did too. They just wanted something simple, straight to the point. They wanted to include that it has a little little palette thing for the cookie dough, and also it has so it's a cookie dough with M&M's flavor, right? So we wanted to incorporate. Okay, so if people don't really catch on that it's this or this, we have to show a little bit more. So we added a bunch of little assets here so people really understand that it's M&M's, right? On the actual package, and that's why.
And it won. Yeah,
dude. Yeah, we have to pick for everything that we do. Also, we picked for the Premium A Plus content. We picked for that as well for Twix. We did a little bit with Twix as well. And
stay on that one a second, because that's a really interesting thing that a lot of people that's very polarizing in the space right now is Premium A Plus versus Standard A Plus, right? So I know that the going trend is right now that Amazon kind of released it to mostly everyone. There's lots of hacks you can do to kind of get it if you don't have it enabled already. I'm a fan, and you might think differently. I'm a fan of Standard A Plus over Premium, and I'll tell you why. If you're
everything,
well, let me tell you what. So I've seen people use Premium A Plus wrong, and I think if you use Premium A Plus, then it's going to work, because Premium A Plus, the pixels are wider, so you get a wider footprint for all of your creatives. So that is a plus. That's what I agree on 100%. Where it kind of falls off is where people start to put carousels and videos embedded in Premium A Plus, because maybe because I'm a millennial and maybe I'm getting older, I typically don't click on videos on anything unless it's something super expensive that I need to have some more technical aspects about it, right?
You just have it.
Yeah. So if it's something like M&M yogurt or like a yogurt or a consumable, I'm not. What's a video going to show me, right? Is it going to show me someone eating it?
Unless it's a yogurt that can help with belly digestion or something that it's a little bit more technical.
But what are you going to show me in a video that you couldn't show me in a store? That's my thing.
I don't know, because maybe it's a yogurt that's I don't know, something that needs more information. What I want to get to the point is that you are absolutely right. That's where I get a lot of my customers that when I'm talking to them, they're like, "Oh, but let's just do a video for this." I'm like, it sounds like a really good idea, and I support you, and you might have the budget, but is it really going to help you? What I want to get to is, depending on the product, you should attack different ways. For example, if you upload a video of somebody doing something silly on TikTok and it goes viral and you get 1 million hits, amazing, great. Is that video, if you upload it on LinkedIn, could it have the same results? Maybe not really, because LinkedIn is a different space. So depending on the platform or depending on the niche, and there's so many ifs. So one really cool part about that, what I recommend for everybody to have at least Premium A Plus content, is because for Premium A Plus content, you can design a specific design for desktop and have a complete different design for mobile. So that's one of the key things that I would highly recommend. But I agree with you. Not every product needs a video. Not every product deserves having a carousel. It really depends. I agree with you on that.
like I'm trying to pull up an example right now. Here's a perfect one. Let me share my screen real quick. For Ghost, and they're a big supplement company, right? They're doing a good job of using premium, I think, a good way, right? Where they're not including a video, but they are including these clickable elements over here to give more, it's not digestive enzymes. It's not really hammering home like exactly what it is, but it's doing a better job for SEO, right? My whole big thing, and it looks good, right? My whole thing is this. If I don't know that this is a carousel, if I'm not a savvy Amazon shopper, right? And there's information over here that's super compelling and you're not showing it to me from the jump, I'm never going to see it.
That's where you use PickFu, my friend. That is where you use PickFu. So we have the exact same problem with the brand stories. And if I could have if my team is watching this, please send me the case study for that. So if you go back, go back. Yeah. No, sorry. In the brand story. So what we did for the brand story is that people weren't clicking. We saw that there was no traffic in the last modules. So what we did is we included a call to action. We're not saying buy now. We're like scan through, skim through, click here to see more.
Like an arrow, right? Like check out.
So correct. So we actually had a PickFu. Let me see if I can find it really quick. Where actually that's the one that got the most amount of clicks because we were telling people, hey, you can see. That's one of the problems by having so many PickFu tests. I don't remember which one it was. I know I can search through it. I think I found it.
Yeah, no.
All right, here you go. Share screen. Let me share my screen really quick.
Yeah,
PickFu.
Hey guys, if you're watching this live and you want Rafael and I to take a look at your ASINs, more than happy to drop them in the comments below. So let me pull up the screen. Yeah.
So basically, we ran these two.
Yeah.
And we included this little arrow, and that got a lot. Oh, sorry, I got out of there. That got a little bit more. Here you go as well. So we were having the most amount of problems in the phone section because mobile, as you know, is smaller. Everybody can see that, right? So this is the one that got the most amount of votes, and it was just a little arrow. Like you can see more. We could have gone even harder and be more aggressive, like click to scroll through or something.
Yeah.
So I would definitely. You're right on that. Like if you didn't tell me that was a carousel, probably I could have not seen it. Yeah. So definitely. For problems like that, that's why you pick from, like literally.
Yeah.
Just show your life example.
A lot of people don't realize that your mobile and your desktop are two different beasts, right? Because I was taking a look at some brands on the fly when I was at the Pattern Show last week, and I pulled up on mobile, right? And there's a reason I'm getting to that too. I pulled up on mobile because that's where a lot of people are going, especially where I do most of my purchases, right? And their first module that was right here, right, blocked all this out, and it just said about us. And it wasn't really clear that you can go over. It wasn't really good. So the statement you're making is 100% factual, and more people need to lean into this than they are right now. Go ahead. Yeah, I was going to go.
Yeah, so that's what I wanted to get to. A lot of my clients, when we work together, are like, oh, but I can get something, probably not as good, but I can do the work on Fiverr. It's like, yes, you could, definitely. That's why I started Spirit Creative Studio. 100% you could. But the experience and the results are not going to be the same. We started on Share Studio started on Fiverr long time ago. Long time ago. Yeah, like super long time ago. Like actually the last time I logged in recently because I'm trying to put Spirit Creative on the platform. And I was like, since I haven't logged in since like as a seller, since like actually as a buyer as well, since like 2019. So I understand, like that's 100% correct, but it's if you go to the gym, just to go to the gym and you get on the treadmill for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, you're not going to get a six pack. If you have a plan, if you have the actual supplements, if you have a trainer, if you do your diet, if you really want to care about it, you're going to spend more money, but you will have a six pack because that's your goal. So depending on your goal and depending on the results that you want, that's where I would say have your content in place. For example, you just said not every product should have a video. You're completely right, John. Not every product should have a video. But if you are selling a garlic press and you want to compete against the other people who are selling garlic presses, maybe there's a different thing in marketing wise that you should be doing. Maybe for that, you should include a little recipe book for garlic presses. Maybe you should definitely not have a video in your Premium Plus content, but you should have a video and get a bunch of influencers and TikTok influencers to, push that garlic press. Like it's a new thing, garlic presses. So marketing wise, you have to know and work with people that really understand the marketing aspect, not just the content.
Yeah, because good work, like with tattoos, like with a barbershop, with anything, good work isn't cheap, cheap work isn't good. Like that's really what it boils down to for a lot of different things, right? But another thing I wanted to talk about was, let me share my screen again, going back to this. If I take a look at, and if here's what's the one thing looking at my browser, right, versus your browser that you notice from this search engine result page?
Well, the one that calls out to me the most, the fastest, or what exactly?
Forget about the images. What's one thing you notice about looking at my SERP versus if you typed in protein powder and looked at your SERP?
Oof, that's such a good question. Well, I can see a lot of things that I can point out.
Well, I'll tell you this. I'll make it a little easier. There's no ads.
Oh, there's right. There's no ads on yours.
There's no brand ad up here. There's no sponsored product. There's nothing. And the reason why is I'm using a browser called Arc Browser. And Arc Browser, right off the rip, blocks ads automatically. It's not even an option. Now, there's a lot of people that are using ad blockers, all these other kind of things, right?
True.
When you're in the Amazon space, what happens if this happens, right? And that's when I tell people, guess where they can't block ads? Natively in their app. So that's why I'm telling a lot of people to focus on your mobile optimization, because right now I'm shopping and we're looking at my screen, I see no ads. But if I switch over to my iPhone, I can't block ads within the Amazon app. So I'm going to be seeing those ads. So I think it's paramount for people to focus on the mobile, because if companies are starting to block ads in the browser, the only other space you have for proper ad management and good ad management is going to be on a mobile device. So I want your opinion on that, where you see that going.
I actually have a quick question for you. Ratio wise, if you buy 100 times a month, let's just say 100 times a month on Amazon, what percentage will you buy through mobile, and what percentage would you buy on the actual desktop?
Personally, or just
So you.
90% mobile, 10% desktop.
I'm like 70% mobile and the rest on desktop, but it's because I'm in the computer all day working. But if I'm not, I'll be in the phone, right? So you're completely right. I'm actually recording my phone, which is so cool that you can actually connect your iPhone to your Mac. So it gives you good quality image. Yeah. That's the point. The point is that little device, depending which type of iPhone you're using, but mine is the little one. That little device, it's your third arm. You will literally leave the house.
So like you see, like I have like there's all ads in here.
Bunch of baby stuff. There's a bunch of baby stuff. Are you dad?
Yeah. You didn't get that from the melatonin comments for kids. Right? But if you notice, if I go here, right, and I type in protein powder versus my screen that I was sharing, right? So let me share my screen again. This is my desktop that blocks ads right off the rip without me doing anything. This is what I get hit with protein powders right off the bat. I'm hit with a Premier Protein ad for a brand ad up here, and then you notice down here, sponsored, all that kind of stuff.
But where I was going to go is that this little device is extremely important for you. It's like your third arm. You will literally leave the house, and if you're like 20 minutes away, most likely you will hit a U-turn and go back and get your phone, right? Because it's extremely that important. Yeah. So that being said, that's why Premium Plus content is so important. Okay, because it allows you to create a specific module, a specific A plus design for the mobile version. Right. And I personally believe that right now, the latest statistics that I saw is that still mobile hasn't overtaken the traffic of desktop. Last thing I saw, but it's climbing extremely fast. It is climbing extremely, extremely fast. So I would say always design. We shoot most of the times twice. We shoot for, oh, look at that. I got some balloons. We shoot for Vertical, okay, horizontal, which is like mobile, desktop, and vertical as well, which is like mobile.
Yeah.
That's what we do, because we create content for the Amazon space, but also for social media, and also for your actual A+ content. That's what we do here, because you're right, dude. Like, it is extremely important. You should be designing for that as well.
I mean, you brought up a great example too about the brand story and that PickFu test that you did as well. I think that's super valuable, because if you look at the brand story here for this exact product, Ghost protein powder, this is how they're seeing it on a desktop, which is okay, right? Because you have some more elbow room, more space, more breathing room, all that kind of stuff. This is the exact same experience that you get for the brand story module on your mobile. So you can see the difference between the two, right? For this, where you have that versus this, and it's not even centered properly. All the text is kind of cut off on the left-hand side, right? So I think that point that you brought up about optimizing it and testing it with PickFu for mobile is very, very powerful, because 9 out of 10 times people let it fall at the wayside, whether it's a 1P or 3P. Do you find that with a lot of your partners, they're more third party or more 1P vendors with Amazon that are kind of utilizing you guys?
Sorry, my device cut off completely. Can you repeat that question, please?
Yeah, 100%. No, actually, I'm not going to repeat it. Yeah, no, so
you know what's funny? That I getting close to the screen, thinking that I might hear better.
No, so most of your clients, are they 3P or 1P? Like, are they selling themselves on Amazon, or are they selling to Amazon? And do you find any nuanced differences between working with people that are 1P versus 3P?
We're like 50-50, honestly. We work with a lot of clients who are 3P. We work with a lot of clients who are 1P. That's a very good question.
Because the way that I see, like, when with 1P, for example, it'll say, like for right here, this says from the brand, and this is a 3P kind of offering, versus when it's 1P, I'll pick something pretty big. Maybe this is 1P. This is 1P right here. So you'll see it'll say from the brand, but then it'll say from the manufacturer, right? So like, this is an example of what I hate when someone does premium A+ content, because you see they have just 2 modules here. This is a video. I'm not going to click it because I never click on videos. And then they do this kind of standardized carousel where it's like, okay, you're putting a lot of friction points for someone to click on all this to get the pertinent information. Why not put a lot of it in the get-go where I can get that information? Why cause more friction points just because we're using a carousel because we think a carousel is cool? Like that.
For that specific brand, it's also how you tell the story a lot of times. That's very important. So, for example, for the carousel, you're right, dude. Like that is an extra friction point that for that exactly carousel that you're giving them. So, for example, that video, look at the thumbnail. Okay, what is that telling you? Nothing, because they don't put the mindset into it. That's like a TV ad. TV ads don't really necessarily work on there. So how you tell the story is extremely important. For example, what I would do,
like this is a better thumbnail for this image where this guy's in his garage working out. I'd almost
100%. That shows the end result, what you want from it. So that's what I was going to get at. So for example, for the carousel, I would say give them a question, give them something to entice that clickable. For example, how can this protein shake help you get the 6-pack you want? I'm not saying it will, but like I'm telling you, give them more, not just like generally 24 grams of like for both performance and like give them something. How you tell the story is extremely important. And for example, they're not doing it. So going back to your question, 1P or 3P, I'll be finding that 1P, because it's like theirs, like not the manufacturer, they care more about it. But what we're trying to see is that since Amazon has got it so competitive and fees are just insane, right? Like, fees are just like crazy. And the craziest thing is that if you're selling your product on Amazon for like $20 and then you're selling it on Walmart for like $15, that can get you in trouble.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not really an open market per se that you can do whatever you want. It's more like a monopoly. So
yeah, yes and no, because I get it. I get why Amazon wants that, right? But and I'm so sorry to say this to anyone from Walmart that's watching it, we love Walmart. but Walmart is up and coming in the marketplace space, right? But they're just not taking. They're not the money maker for a lot of these small brands. So people are just focusing on focusing on Amazon more than Walmart, right? For right now.
To my point. So if I am selling, right, this thermos on Walmart and on Amazon I'm making $100,000 a month, and on Walmart I'm making $10,000 a month. Obviously, I'm out. If Amazon tells me, hey, you have to do I don't know, change this colors to white, I'll change it to white. I'll do whatever he wants because it's $100,000. But if Amazon tells me to increase the price here and now I have to increase the price there, like it's more like they're controlling me. So it's like, you're not giving me actually the free market, like it's a free market, I'll sell as I want it kind of situation. So it's a little bit like you're bending my arm and telling me what to do, how to sell my product, where to sell it because of the fees. If I don't play by the rules, they'll just scratch my account. There you go. That's $100,000 in revenue that you're not going to make anymore, right? So my whole business can come down. It's 1.2 million a year. Yeah. That being said, okay, sorry, I thought somebody asked a question. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to learn a little bit more about how you guys integrate PickFu in your everyday process. So, like, are you testing everything for clients? Are you doing like periodical things? So, after you've done the creative and the test, do they keep you on board to continuing to test and continuing to iterate for new stuff down the road, like if a flavor changes, if a new competitor comes in? What's that process look like for you guys?
So let me share I'm such a visual person that I think that everybody's like me.
Yeah. Sure.
Unfortunately, that's not the case in the world. But for example, for this test, right, we tried for this cream. Right. So we're like, hey guys, why would you click on here? And they're like, hey, we would click on this one because A, B, and C, and this one because you can see the back of the bottle, and this one because you have a little bit of the model, right? It's like, okay, these are the top three, scratch these out. So we're like, okay, now that we have a bit more information, let's go a bit deeper. And where's the next one? Okay, so they're like, okay, let's look at this again now. Okay, let's add the one that got first place with the model and see what happens. Let's add the one that got first place with the model inside because there's a human interaction. And let's just use the one that we got that got first place again. And then let's use the one that got first place with the back of the bottle. What are we doing here? What we're doing here with PickFu is this is going to cost you more money. Like it just is, but they have to pay people also, right? It's not AI, it's actually humans. And for these humans to actually answer these questions, they have to get paid. So it's going to cost you more money, but it's going to yield better results. So what we're doing here is we're filtering out, right? We're asking a broad question. They're giving us a specific answer, and then we're tailoring that question even more. So from there, let me go back. This is the one that got first place again. And then we're like, okay, we're not seeing the results that we wanted. Let's keep running tests. Where is it?
So that's okay. While you're looking for that, you actually brought up a really good point. So it's like understanding best practices, right? Front or back of the bottle, front of the bottle by itself with another element. Like, are you finding something is a certain standard, or is it depending on the product?
I'm finding that depending on how you search for, and the reason I'm not showing you the actual stats, demographics, because I'm not allowed to. But because that's like more sensitive part of the brand. But for example, for depending on the industry and depending on the product, I know I don't like being vague. I like being straight to the point. But it does depend on the product, the seasonality, and a lot of factors that you have to answer on, asking the right people. So for example, for this is a product specifically for females within the ages of I would say 18. It's a very broad, 18 to like 45, 50. So we have that segmented, but we also know that they're females. So yeah, man, I think that answers your question, right? Like,
yeah, no, this is. Well, I like to know more about how often are you guys testing? Because I think that's a big thing too, right? Where someone is, testing on PickFu and they're testing to see what's going on, and then they might not come back for a little bit because they think, hey, it's one and done. I've already done it, right? But what we're kind of educating people a little bit more, especially with these live streams and videos we're putting out is that it's not a one and done type thing, because you could have I could show you top tier CPG brands that are getting beat out on PickFus by their competition, right? That are much lower, right? So a lot of times if someone's doing big business, they rest on that and they don't want to change it. You often find that as well, where if someone's doing well on Amazon, they're a little bit leery to change their main hero image because it's done so well for now that they don't want to change it because they don't want to rock the boat.
Man, I love that question, dude. I had when I graduated, I'll get back to the point. I'll get to that point. Yeah. When I was in law school, I started studying auto engineering on the side, and can you guide me on sensory swing category? And
yeah, we'll take a look at that in a second. Yeah.
Yeah, and my professor said, like, if it's not broken, don't touch it. Just don't touch it. Right? It doesn't apply. Like I believe it doesn't apply. This is a quick case study. I had a very big client, and he was selling $200,000 a month on Amazon. And we met him at an event. He's like, I'm selling 200. I'm like number 3, the best sellers. So like, come on, like, I don't want to get greedy. I was like, okay, you're right. Why should you work with us? Cool. Let's look at the data. So we jumped into Jungle Scout, and we saw the data was basically the following. He is the 3rd best seller, and he's making a ton of money, $200,000 on Amazon. It's a lot of money. So for some people, for me, it's right now $200,000. I wouldn't mind $200,000 a month.
I won't put up my nose at $200,000 a month. That's money, man.
So he was making $200K a month, and the funniest thing is that you have to look at the trends. Okay, he was 3rd, but the people behind him were like 3 months before. He was actually almost 2nd. So actually, the trend was like he was coming down, and his competition, the 5 bottom guys, were going up. So what we're seeing is like, okay, dude, so you're number 3rd right now. These guys are over here, but the trend is that in 6 months from now, you're gonna cross. There is going to be a point of friction there. And what are you going to do there? So in boxing, I love to box. So it's like, stay ready so you don't have to get ready, right? Yeah. So the point was like, at some point, you're gonna have to spend money, and at that point, it might be a little bit too late because you'll lose brand loyalty. And it's a product, it's a consumable. You have to use month by month, like a melatonin gummy. If you buy a melatonin gummy for your kids and it works good on them, most likely you won't switch until it doesn't work for them, right? So what if you
I'm loyal. I'm loyal to the ones that work for me. So yeah, unless something comes out that's cheaper, that's more effective, and is telling me that clearly in my face.
Correct. But that's what these other people were doing, right? They were offering a better offer that's so good you feel stupid saying no, you know? Like Alex Hormozi type of situation.
Alex Hormozi, man, yeah. $1 million offers, $1 million leads, yeah.
Correct. So if that was what's happening, and so we at the end of the day we got to work with him. He served the top 3 for like a couple of more months, and then just Chinese sellers came in and just started beating him up, and that got brutal. But that's
rough. That's a big part of selling on Amazon is direct or overseas direct coming in and beating you out on brand, beating you out on merchandising, beating you out on this other kind of stuff besides pricing too. So
yeah, man, yeah. It was hard.
So Khalil brought up a thing. Can you guide me on sensory swing categories? So taking a look at this kind of stuff, what are your thoughts here in this space?
I mean, everybody's showing a kid, and everybody's showing something different. Almost different in almost the same way. For example, look at the bottom one. There's a very happy girl. They're all kids, and showing what the product is in use. I would try to do give some text. I usually try to steer away from text, but for example, for here, since nobody's using it, maybe you know what I feel? I feel like this is very difficult to install.
It is, and I think that's why a lot of these guys are showing the hardware. But
correct.
In my opinion,
what if in your hero image, Khalil, I'm pretty sure that a lot of these people have how-to videos or how to install videos. But what if you in your hero image you do something like this? Let me show you really quick. Share screen. Share screen. PickFu. Where's PickFu? PickFu. I can't find it now.
That's okay. But he's also said, what are the best practices for the main image and listing images? So one thing that I would say is for this kind of stuff, a lot of people are showing the hardware. No one's showing the actual box that it comes in. So I'm a huge fan of showing packaging behind the product, right? Because we're already showing things you technically can and can't show, right? So you're showing people in it, lifestyle images to an extent that borders on the line of guidelines, but you're showing the hardware. This doesn't tell me much. But if you were to put a packaging behind it of what it comes in, and then put the wording on the packaging to say, children's sensory swing holds up to 300 pounds, that's going to visually tell me more than what your competition is right now. Because right now, there's literally no one in this space. Like, this is totally against terms of service. So you cannot put a lifestyle image with a nature background. But you can see they're doing it, and they're selling 100 plus in the last 30 days. So Amazon's not cracking. So, yeah. Here's the perfect of what I'm talking about right here. Sensory swing. This right here is, in my opinion, best practice versus the competition.
So what I would do, this is just me trying to solve the problems of the client. That's why they're showing all the hardware to tell you, like, hey, you can install it with what we give you. I will take it a little bit differently. You could show the package, but what can give you more value? Like for like, just not just for you, just like in general public, because common good is very hard. You can't please everybody, but you want to please as many people as you can. So I haven't looked at this data, Khalil. I have no idea what the demographics are. I guess it's just for kids. But what I would do is, if one of the biggest problem is installation, that's why you look at the reviews and you have to analyze all the reviews. But let's just say one of the biggest friction points is installing. Why not, maybe in the packaging, instructional video included, or instructional guide included, or hey, with this video, we'll show you step by step. We'll get on the phone with you. Well, I don't know, something that's TOS. That's not TOS that much, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Get that lead magnet. But showcase maybe in the hero image, maybe it's the phone, or maybe it's a video. A product, something that gives them more value than the competition. Because right now, what I'm seeing is the competitions, they're all giving the same amount of value. Yeah. Everybody's giving the same amount of value. So what can you do to give them even more value? So for example, for this product, I'm sure am I sharing my screen? Oh, not yet.
Yeah, good. You're right here.
Okay. So we started getting a lot of hits on product reviews to clients. And she's like, how can you guys help me? I was like, okay, well, let's just try to answer as much as we can the problems that people are posting. So what we did is that we added a label, clinically proven efficiency, purity tested and verified. We give them different, because nobody was using this as the exact label or a label or something.
Click on some of the images so you can see it bigger, whoever wants to watch. Yeah, perfect. So I'm a big fan of that. I'm gonna let you continue. I'm a huge fan of this. I call these like super heavy post edits, value props, adding tags for color variations, all this kind of stuff. So one thing to note is this is a post edit that the product's not physically coming with, but no one's gonna care about it. You're correct?
Correct. The other thing is that make sure that my team is primarily, my company is primarily 90% female. So I call the girls. The girls on my team are extremely diligent in what they do. I believe that nobody has a better eye for details than the female human. They are very, very good at what they do. They're extremely good at what they do. And in my team, at least, Mary's the head designer, the art director. She's very, very pointed. So, for example, she added this little shadow. She made sure that this string was here. She made sure that the string had a little shadow at the bottom, because the light was coming from. If you see here, the bottle here has the shadow right here, meaning that the source light, the key light, was from the top. So she mimicked it here. So we try to add it as best as possible,
to make it look real, to make it look not like a post edit. 100%
correct. Because I'm pretty sure you as a dad, if you see that something might be a little bit fake and harmful, maybe you won't give that melatonin gummy to your child, right? You want something that's organic and real. So that's what we try to do. This is a cream that has to be put on top of the body, so it's something delicate. A lot of people have allergic reactions to it. That's why we put clinically proven efficacy. So I hope that answers your question, Khalid.
Yeah.
Make sure you give it the most amount of value as possible.
Yeah, one thing I've seen perform really well with any kind of creams, lotions, makeup is sometimes putting a smear behind the actual product in the main hero
Gives
image.
that taste.
It gives them the taste. It gives it the texture. It gives it, that sticky kind of feeling. But we're winding down right now, man. But I appreciate you popping on. But I just want to showcase a little bit more about, guys, it's super easy. Am I not showing the right screen? Hold on one second.
You're showing the swing.
Yeah, no, let me share the proper thing here.
Oh, Khalil, if you need, I don't know if you're listening, but if you need some points, you can hop on a call with my team and they'll give you 15 minutes free of charge, man. And they'll just give you ideas. They won't pitch you anything. They'll just try to help you as much as they can, okay?
That's awesome. Love that.
Yeah, man.
Khalil, take them up on that. But yeah, I just wanted to share this as well. This a poll creator, a poll builder in PickFu is super simple. A lot of people get very kind of worried, like, oh, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to. It's the value is really great, but I don't know how to do it. You just go here. If you were shopping on Amazon, and then you just go here and you add the options and you just drag and drop them in, and then you go into your audience. How many people do you want? Where? Targeted audience. We have 90 plus traits. So if they're an Amazon Prime member, age range, kid toy buying frequency, the list goes on and on and on, right? So.
Yep.
I just want people to know from the video that you're a super power user. We love you for that. I just want other people to know that you don't have to be the big power user. You could be the guy that's just wanted to try it out and see, and you don't have to be this code developer to kind of get in there and use PickFu.
I want to add something because when they start dabbing into those sections, they might feel like, oh my God, it's gotten really expensive. Yeah, it could. But ask yourself this question. You've already spent at least $10,000 worth of inventory, $5,000. Why won't you spend a little bit more, at least to make sure that you're going to get that click? You might have the best product in the world. If nobody sees that product, nobody's going to buy it, right? So it's going to, marketing is, we don't like marketing, but marketing needs to be done. That's why you still see ads for Coca-Cola. Everybody knows Coca-Cola, and you still see ads for them, right? Especially in the Super Bowl and these other big screens, right? Big stages. So it might get a little bit more expensive. So what I would do is I would at least try to do one broad and then go niche down, boom, 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 until you get your sweet spot. And then you have so much data, you can run A/B testing on Amazon. So it might get a little bit expensive, but if you're selling a $50 product, my Amazon seller, please invest into your brand. Yeah.
What's more expensive? I tell people running tests for a couple $100, even a couple $1,000 if you really want to go that far into it, or tens of thousands of dollars of loss of product because the product's not moving. Right? When you look at it that way, Rafael, a very, very, very famous person, Abraham Lincoln, quoted this, and it resonates. It all starts with the click. Abraham Lincoln actually said that. Do you know? No, I'm just kidding. I always say that.
I was like, I'm not fact check you on that.
I always say on my LinkedIn post, I always end it with, it all starts with the click, and I put a famous person as if they said it. I think my last one was, Taylor Swift or something. But it really all starts with the click, because you're never going to be able to convert. You're never going to get the add to cart. You're never going to get the purchase. You're never going to get the subscribe and save residual kind of thing coming in if you don't get the click. So it's important to make the clicks super compelling. But yeah, man, Rafael, where can everyone reach out to you? How can they find you? Where can they connect with you at?
Guys, just like my name says right here, Share It Studio. So just Share It Studio everywhere, honestly. YouTube, Instagram, our webpage.
LinkedIn, right?
I'll be honest with you, man. I actually do not use my LinkedIn. That's my peeps over there, and my team using that LinkedIn. I'm just trying to get more into it. They're pretty good at it, and they forward the messages to me. But if you do want to get directly to me, the best way would be literally just tell my team, hey, I want to get in touch with Rafa, because my team's the one that handles everything. If not, you can send me an email at hello@ShareStudio, and my team will reply to you, and they will get back to me on that. And if not, please get on a call. Like, honestly, we'll give you 15 minutes of our time completely for free, and we'll give you our ideas, because we know, like, this is like the best way. This is where Gary B comes in, the jab, right hook. We know that if we give you the best ideas and those ideas work for you, at some point in your journey, you're going to come back to us at some point. It has happened to me hundreds of times. So we'll give you the best ideas we can on the spot. And if they work for you, great. If not, we'll try to give you more until they work for you and until we work together.
So I'm going to one up you on that, because that's a great offer that everyone should take you up on. If you guys are watching this, we have coaching calls for merchandising, consulting, stuff like that with me directly. Normally about $300. If you're watching this live or on the replay, email me, aspinall@pickfu.com. I'll set you up with a free coaching call. We'll get you into the PickFu system. We'll start to help you out, all that kind of good stuff. And another kind of plug we want to do is actually PickFu is now doing a done-for-you package. So if going with Share It Studio is not written in the cards for you because Rafael charges an arm and a leg, I'm kidding. We have done for you where our team can run all the polls for you and do the creative for you. So if you're looking for a real hands-off option with that, right now we're starting with main hero image. So definitely feel free to reach out to us about that as well. But man, I got to tell you, Rafael, out of all the Ninja Turtles, you are my favorite, man.
Thanks, man. What about Leonardo? Leonardo's pretty good as well.
Yeah. You got the cool samurai size, man.
Appreciate it, brother.
Definitely come back. Love having you. Love that you're using PickFu nonstop, and it's fantastic, man. Thank you so much,
guys. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your time. I really do.
All right. Bye, guys.